Welcome to round 7 of the Porsche Cup here in the 26th Porsche Cup, headed by the Jsra race, sponsored by S. Patel. We are here at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit, one of the fastest and most legendary circuits in motorsports. 7 kilometers long. This track is full of dramatic elevation changes, some corners that will punish the drivers even in the smallest mistakes. 2:15's rapid times here so far. As the times go down further and further, let me just put up quickly the intervals over the gaps to the leader as they will continue onwards to test and see where they can land. This is a practice at the moment. We have about 9 minutes remaining until qualifying. Spa, one of the longest circuits on the calendar that we have. Drivers facing iconic sections like the Eau Rouge, and especially in these cars, the engine is at the back, the front is absolutely light. So as you saw there, the car will or can go very happy, especially going up the Eau Rouge. The first few tests there, we actually saw the Porsche Cup turn into airplanes as the front was so light. It started to lift up, taking it flat. So drivers have adjusted their setup all week. They've prepared themselves as best as possible. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous, especially going down that Kemmel straight and heading down Radion. But Kemmel straight in particular, we're going to see a lot of drafting there. At the end of Kemmel straight, you should see a lot of overtakes, maybe some late and desperate moves. The technical middle sector, it's going to be fun to watch as well, especially when you head down to that section in the middle. Where is it? Turn 7, 8. We'll get there eventually. I'll show you on the map. But with the championship entering its latter stages, every single point matters, and drivers cannot afford mistakes, especially on a track as unforgiving as Spa. The championship bid is definitely heating up, as a matter of fact. The top 3 between Estefano, Felipe, and Daniel Roberts is going to get even more interesting this evening. The appeals for this week, so we'll give the updates by next week and on our Instagram as we head into the finale at Sebring. But as it stands, that battle between Estefano and Felipe and Daniel Roberts is going to be very interesting, because we know Estefano, he sits right there on the top at the moment. He said it last week, he was going to put in some practice to make sure that he was on the top this week. Daniel Roberts, this is his favorite track. Seeing a car going off in the background there, I think that was Richard Dial. And there goes Andrew Morrison. A little bit of commentator's curse there, but I digress. Daniel Roberts, favorite track. Unfortunately for him, however, he will not be qualifying here this evening due to an excess in penalty points. He now stands with 10 after round 6. Round 6 and round 5 had some issues, which is the purpose of why he is not going to be qualifying this evening. But that being said, it will give us a little bit of action to watch through as he fights through the grid. As always, damage limitation is going to be the aim for race 1, and see how far you can get. Put a bid for race 2. See my mic just conking in and out there. So been seeing this issue all series. Tried to order one and hoped it would have gotten back in time, but unfortunately doesn't look like it will be. Hopefully we'll get it back for the final, so next week. But we have Jaden Harrison and Kurt Moss. Kurt Moss frustrated, which we can just understand why. Every race, unbeknownst to him, not any fault of his own, has just been taken out, and it's always a sad feature. But here at Spa, he's a little bit more experienced there. Let's see, can he get through the field cleanly get a good qualifying session in there for Team Jamaica. I myself am going to be saying a prayer for him in hopes that he will get a better race there. But right there where he's going through is where we were discussing earlier. Huge overtaking opportunity right here. You're going to see some persons putting it right there on the middle, on the inside, my apologies, and that's going to be very dangerous in these cars because side by side action, we've seen it all season, it can be unrelenting. So we have quite a few corners to go, quite a few corners to overtake as well as he comes through the final sector now. And this is where you're going to see, heading to the bus stop, is where you're definitely going to see a lot of overtaking opportunities here this evening. With that being said, we have about 4 minutes to go until the qualifying session. I say put your bets in from now. Spa is one of those tracks that can just be so, what do you say, it will come with surprises. So please prepare for a lot of action to come. I believe the top is going to be very fun as well. With Estefano, Daniel Moreno, he's been putting in a good bid. He himself and Miguel Beltran have been fighting it out for 4th and 5th, depending on the end of this race. Maybe one could be getting closer to that 3rd place position. Hopefully not for the Jamaican, but only time will tell. But we prepare to go racing in a moment's time. 3 minutes remaining in this practice session. Then we'll be heading into the qualifying. 10 minutes quick qualifying, 3 laps, which now that I think about it might be very short for these drivers here at Spa. But yeah, I'm sure they can get in their laps before it's too late. So ladies and gentlemen, just prepare for a battle on the way. And the wait is over. We are back with racing in 2026. The season kicks off with the Porsche Cup. Dynamic conditions, 8 iconic tracks, drivers throughout the Caribbean and the world fighting for glory in the new revamped Porsche Cup. This is promising to be the best season yet at the Jsra as we lead into season 2 with the GT3 Championship. Drivers fighting for the top step of the podium. They've returned for the fight and the glory will be theirs. And side by side, the two drivers as it's a sprint race down the Kemmel straight. And Mikhail Charles now sends a move down the inside into turn 7. Huge lockup. Amaris Garcia sees the error and runs away with it. 7 Mile Racing chasing in the background for P1. The season begins January 23rd, 2026. Sponsored by Shotels. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back in qualifying. This is the outlap for Mr. Estefano Barrera. We'll be riding along board with him for the beginning or the first opening lap. He will be the first that will be setting a time if he gets his lap on the way, as he would have hoped at least, but yeah, we'll prepare to go racing as he heads down now to Blanchimont. And this is gonna be a brilliant qualifying ahead of us. You're seeing the times already coming in. Heads down now to the bus stop chicane to start his first flying lap. Let's ride along board with him to keep up with what is going on and get a better feeling of what is to come. So his lap is officially on the way, and Estefano heading down now to turn 1. We're gonna see how he rotates that car. This is where the race is gonna be very, I want to say scary, but it's also gonna be extremely interesting. Going up Eau Rouge and through Radion, look at how he takes it. Has to do a light lift. The front of that car can be so light. We've seen it before where the drivers are just lifting in the air and heading off like they were going to fly to Panama or Colombia. But now as he heads down to the Kemmel Straight to Le Combs, you're going to see him heavy on the braking here. Bring it down. Try to trail through right here. Right here is going to be another key overtaking point for the drivers here this evening. It's going to be fun to watch as he heads down now to Brussels. And again, this is another place we've seen in the past with GT3s. So in a similar classification, I can see it happening here the same as they will continue on. Goes through the speed corner, heading down now to Pouillon. And this is going to be where we've seen incidents because persons get brave right here on the braking, but then they wash wide. But there you see him use up as much of the curb as possible, gets back on the throttle as quickly as possible as well as he heads down now to turns 12 and 13. And this is looking like a good lap in sector 2 at least, but Jaden Harrison, he's not too far behind. He's looking rapid. So where can Jaden said he didn't get much laps in this evening for this race. So where will it put him? He needs to make a case for his teammate who will not be qualifying here this evening in Daniel Roberts, but Estefano looking rapid so far as he heads down Blanchimont. And this is the final sector of the track, and you're going to see him flat through here, use up all of that curb, don't want to go too wide, and then you're going to head down. Brakes on the heavy brakes right now as he heads through the bus stop chicane, tries to carry as much speed as possible, and then back on the gas, use up a little bit of that green section, comes through to finish his first lap. Where will that put him? Obviously pole, provisional pole for now with a 2:16.546. That's been the fastest, 2:15 has been the fastest lap of this season so far, or this week, my apologies. So that being said, let's get back. Daniel Moreno, though, he quickly takes it back from his countryman, 216.35. So 2 tenths quicker. Kurt Moss there, 217.97. That's going to be fun to watch as well. So 691 right in front of the Jamaica. My mic, I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so we'll continue looking now, but as it stands, the top 4 right now, the championship leader in Estefano Barrero on this first row, but P2 so far. Taj Edwards clearly had an incident there to slow down, so he's down by about 14 seconds. But we're sure he'll be coming in sooner than later. 15 seconds, my apologies. But yes, we continue onwards. Let's actually take a look at Jaden Harrison, as he should be setting his first lap at 217.808. So not the fastest time so far. Kurt Moss is improving. Let's take a look at him, as he will be trying his best to put in a bid here this evening. Who is this? I believe that is one Constain. But yes, let's take a look at Kurt Moss. Sorry, the camera did switch for me. Sector 1 and 2 looked rapid for himself, at least improving. He did a 38.2, that's about 4 tenths off of pole, and a 33.6, that's about 2 tenths off of pole. So yeah, he is a little bit under, but should still be improving. Estefano does a 216.4, purple sector 4, but not enough for himself. Kurt Moss now comes around to put in a last lap. Daniel Moreno, though, he's looking rapid. Where will he go? Kurt Moss does move up. Daniel Moreno as well. Where does this put him? He stays on pole and improves his time. 216.107. Felipe Yield, next one to come across. Javier Brandao as well. Not the fastest lap so far, but Javier puts himself on the table in P11 with a 299. Felipe Yield, no improvement for him, so this will be his last lap now. Peter Arundel as well, though, he's improving as well as he comes across the line. Where will that put him? 217.25, so takes back the position from Kurt Moss, and these two are clearly on about the same pace. 5 tenths difference, as a matter of fact. Let me take that back, but we know them to be closer in the battle, so we'll continue to watch and see where that will put him. Joshua Brady improving. Edwin Ballerino, he missed last week. He improves and splits the Jamaican and the Trinidadian. They now sit in P7. That is Taj Edwards. That is the time that we've been expecting of him, as he puts it up now into P4. But Estefan is heading for pole position. Hopefully that's not a commentator's curse, but he's trying his best to put in a bid to see where he can get this car on the grid for the penultimate lap. Well, not penultimate, but the second to last round of this championship here at Spa-Francorchamps. Daniel Moreno, purple sector 1 and 2. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the commentary. Not sure why the mic is dropping in and out. But as Estefano heads down now to the final bus stop chicane, where will this put him as he comes through? Goes right, goes left, holds and tries to get back on the throttle as quickly as possible. You see him use as much of the curb as possible. As long as you don't extend past that green line, you're good. But 215.952 for the Colombian. And Daniel Moreno, though, he will have a bid now to see where he can put it as he comes around the final corner. And there you see him as well. Doesn't use as much as Estefano. But yellow sector 4. What time does that put? He is relegated to P2. So unfortunate for him. Felipe Yield, where is he? Nope, he's not going to be improving by much here this evening. Let's see, Richard Dyer, Daniel Velez. We haven't seen much of him. He hasn't gotten a lap in, as a matter of fact. But there he goes with a 217.4. So that's going to be his qualifying done, I believe. Jaden Harrison, Edwin Ballerino. He looks like he's a little bit closer to the end. So, and qualifying is over. Ladies and gentlemen, so the grid is as follows. Estefano Barrera takes pole position here this evening at Spa-Francorchamps. This is going to be an interesting fight for the likes of, well, a lot of the drivers here. But it's a top 4 Colombian grid. Let's see. Estefano P1. Yes, Estefano P1, Daniel Moreno in P2, Miguel Beltran in P3. Now, he and Daniel Moreno are fighting it out for P4 and P5 in the championship, so that's going to be something to watch for. Felipe Yield, the closest competitor to Estefano this week. That's going to be fun to watch and to see how he typically has a really bad start. What can happen here this evening for him? Taj Edwards, he could improve up into P4 as early as turn 1, depending on how that launch goes for Felipe. Peter Arundel back in action, P6. Edwin Ballerino, the Panamanian, missed last week as well and the round before. He sits in P7. Daniel Velez, P8. Kurt Moss, P9. David Tuta, P10. Jaden Harrison, just outside the top 10, sits in P11. Davil Park, P12. Andrew Marson, P13. Francisco Javier Salazar, P14. Javier Brandao in P15. Julian Arcis in P16. Cavon Thomas Green in P17. Rich Dio sits in P18. Joel Santamaria, P19. Mikhaili from Brazil is in P20. Daniel Roberts again did not qualify. He sits in P21. Vincent Da Silva, P22. Joshua Brady, P23. And Juan Constain sits in P24. We are about to go racing. Estefano will start the grid from the top step of the podium. Put your bids in from now, ladies and gentlemen. As you see, we're in the chopper view. Who will be taking the victory here this evening at Spa-Francorchamps? Only time will tell. We should be getting the lights on now. There you get it, the 2-minute warning. Prepare to go racing.
Green flag, green flag.
And it's green light racing. Estefano gets a good launch there. That's Daniel Moreno trying to see if he can put some pressure. No pressure to go though. Felipe looks like he finally got a good start here. Taj Edwards already under threat by Peter Arundel, who loses a position to Edwin Ballerino. So Edwin moves up 1 position. Taj Edwards moves up as well, stays where he is. My apologies. Peter Arundel lost 1. Felipe Yield already going up Eau Rouge, makes a move on his countryman in Miguel Beltran. So good for him in his bid against the likes of, that's a yellow flag. Who is that going down? That's Kurt Moss. No, Kurt Moss is still in the action, thank God. That is Javier Garcia. Jaden Harrison also has moved up 2. Who is that right behind? That's between David Tuta and Jaden Harrison fighting it out for P8. Jaden moves up a position as well. So 3 positions since the beginning of this race. We will continue onwards as we watch that battle between David. David is not ready to give that one up. Javier Brandao though, he's looking to see, can he make a move? David does make a move on the inside. Jaden went wide, but Jaden not giving it up too soon. He sits in P8. Daniel Roberts moves up 3 positions so far. Where can he go in the next few moments? Andrew Marson just making his move as well to move up into P11 against Javier Brandao, who is on the inside of him. So that's going to be a good little battle to watch right now as they continue through Puyon. Whew, what a beginning. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will eventually go through the pack and the replay at the beginning. But let's just get through the first few moments. As you see there, David Tuta not giving it up, trying to keep up with Jaden Harrison. Right up further ahead though. Kurt Moss finally getting away from the drama here at the beginning and does see Peter Arundel in his foresights for a possible move at some point in this race. So we'll watch that to go. 18 minutes to go. We follow this with a 25-minute reverse grid, but that being said, look forward to the action through this one alone. Miguel Beltran, no, he was one of those that lost it on the start in comparison to the likes of, who is this? Yeah, the likes of Miguel Beltran and Felipe Yield. So Daniel Roberts moves up 5 positions. He loves his track. We'll watch to see how he gets through the field and how much he can get through in as quick of time as possible as well. So Jaden there chasing down his countryman Taj Edwards. Taj is out. Taj is out. Taj is out. I'm so sorry. I'm just noticing it. But Taj, it was an accident. Not even sure what had happened. Just saw that he went off track. Wow, even Daniel Roberts had crashed. So we'll take a look in a moment's time. Edwin Ballerina though, seeing yellow flags all over the field. And Jaden has been relegated down a few positions as well. Back to P10 as he fights there with Daniel Velez. So we'll take a look at the replays. I was trying to see what had happened at the start of the race to see if we could find anything interesting. As Kurt Moss there moves up on Edwin to take back P6 from the Panamanian driver. Peter Arundel there sits in P5 and he's a steady driver, so don't be surprised if he can just maintain that for the rest of the race. You've seen it time after time. Peter for Calypso Racing Community as well as Andrew Marson. We watch them to see how they can get through the field. Daniel Roberts up into P15 now, 2 tenths as he will be fighting with Javier Brandao, the GT Panama driver, and in between him and the Trinidadian. It's about 3 GT Panama drivers, so this is going to be hopefully not too frustrating as you see him there going down the inside and quickly dispatches off Javier. Heads down now, sees Joel Santamaria in his sights. Joel there feeling the pressure, maybe just going a little bit wide as they head. Joshua Brady showing the black and white flag, so he has a drive-through already. That is pain, as he would say, suffering and strife for him. But now Daniel Roberts, P13, heads up the field and will be chasing down Vincent De Silva, leader of the GT Panama team. We'll watch to see what can happen there as the drivers will be continuing onwards for the next few moments. Edwin Ballerina though is on the rear end of that Porsche Cup, driven by Mr. Massive himself. So we continue onwards. Okay, so quickly, let's see. At the start of this race, this is Daniel Roberts, and it was, so there was somebody who slept on the line. And that's where that first incident came in. Nothing too dramatic, thankfully. Oh! That was the start of the race for Daniel Roberts. Oh, I don't want to hear his mic. That one drew him further down the field, unfortunately for him, but making his way downtown, and he is walking fast, so let's watch to see what he can do as he's right there already on the back end of Vincent De Silva. Makes a move, heading down now. Excuse me, and quickly dispatches off the GT Panama driver as he heads down heading to Puyon now, and will be setting his sights now on the Trinidadian in front of him in Andrew Marson. Vincent De Silva, what's going on there? Oh, looks like a drop in frames for a second, thankfully. Had a little bit of a scare there. But yeah, we'll continue to watch onwards for what is to come. Daniel Velez chasing down David Tuta for P8 right now. And Jaden Harrison, let me say, is chasing down Daniel Velez to try and see if he can secure some points ahead of him. So we'll see what can happen there as they head down. And this is where it's going to get interesting, because this is where we said at the bus stop chicane, you're going to see some late moves. You're seeing Jaden there pushing him right to the edge of the curb, and there you see a little bit of contact. We're rubbing his racing, 2 of them going side by side. Jaden Harrison looking like he's getting the move done. Will he get the run though? And there you see him runs extra wide. Does look like he gets the move done, but that's going to be heading down now into turn 1. Tries to close that gap and give Daniel the longer way around, but there they go. He gets through as they'll be heading up now up to the Eau Rouge and Radion. David Tuta in front of them. I'm sure Daniel Roberts is loving this, so it will just bring in him even closer to what can happen in the next few moments. But right here, the draft is going to be powerful, ladies and gentlemen. But even while we watch this, let's see right behind them, Daniel Roberts on the slipstream of Andrew Marson as they head down the Kemmel straight. And Daniel Roberts looking like he's going to get the move done. Late on the brakes, who will it be? Does cut in front, slows down Andrew, makes the move, moves up another position. Felipe Yieldo, my apologies, he just took the position from Estefano. So Estefano, Miguel and Felipe, all three of them fighting it out for the podium. Well, let me say the second step of the podium, because right now that battle will continue onwards. Daniel Velez 4/10 off of Jaden as well, so we'll continue to watch that. Edwin Ballerino caught back up to the back end of Kurt Moss, so we'll continue to watch them as that battle continues onwards. But yeah, let's ooh, wow, what an evening already. Spa never fails for us, especially at the Jsra. We had a talk with the drivers before, and all of them excited for what was to come. So let us try and see what had happened at the start of this race. Looking like we can take a minute, but I'm just gonna watch this right here before we switch to the replay. We are about to reach the halfway mark. Kurt Moss there immediately goes defensive, but the outside will become the inside line. Edwin will get that line against Kurt Moss, and it will be a sprint race. Why did he switch the camera? Yes, it will be a sprint race down now to turn one, but now Kurt will have the ideal position to position that car where he needs it. Does go back on the racing line as best as possible, and looks like he will live to fight another day. But David Tutor has been invited into this battle now, and he has found himself to see if he can maybe play a little bit of drama there. Right behind him as well, Jaden Harrison and Daniel Velez. So that's going to be even more interesting. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, right behind Daniel Velez, 2 seconds down the field, is Mr. Daniel Roberts. So that is where it's going to get interesting. Felipe Yiel again loses out to Estefana. So these two are the championship fighters here this evening. This is where the battling is going to go. Daniel Moreno, though, checking out. So he looks like he's comfortable where he is, taking pole and just running away. Well, he took pole from Estefana at the start. We'll look through, ladies and gentlemen, at some point. Just give me some time to figure out what's happening here at round 7 at Spa-Francorchamps. This is just absolutely nuts. David Tutor there on the back end of Edwin Ballerina. Edwin just sizing up Kurt Moss, seeing where he can maybe see a move. Kurt was not supposed to be racing here this evening. Finally gets a good race so far for him. His teammate, though, Taj Edwards, out in the first lap of the race. So what disappointments it's been, and it's just been a topsy-turvy season all throughout. Let's take a quick look here. This was a pass for P7 between... Ooh. And it was going up Eau Rouge where Taj lost it. And that is pain for him. There you see it there, live and direct. And that is what took Taj Edwards out for this season, or this evening's race. He hasn't had the best luck either. Rapid driver, don't get me wrong. But again, it's just poor luck, unfortunately, for the Jamaican. My heart goes out to him just as much as it does for Mr. Massive there. Daniel Velez 4 seconds down from Andrew Marsland now, so clearly we're missing out on a lot of the action here. Let's try and get through and catch back up as much as possible. Yep, Daniel Roberts did pass Daniel Velez, and there you see the two did make contact, and that is what relegated Daniel Velez down the field. That is sad for him. We'll take a look now. This was a pass for P2 going down the Kemmel straight between Estefan and Felipe. So just braver on the brakes here. Got the run going up Eau Rouge down the Kemmel straight. Did make the move on merit. So that was a brilliant pass for him. let's take a look. This was the fight between Daniel Velez and Jaden Harrison. We saw this one live. It was absolutely brilliant, if I do say so myself. We'll continue to watch that one as it continues onwards. But yep, this was it. Jaden just took the better line, get through. They had a run up until turn 1, and that's where he got away. This is Edwin Ballerino versus Kurt Moss. Nice clean battle. Lets him through. We'll live to fight another day. That looks like the beginning of this evening's race, and while we've been watching this, another overtake has gone down between Estefano and Felipe, but this looks like it was on merit. There you see Estefano did go very wide. Felipe just capitalizing on it, got the moment to move up another position. These two fighting it out. They are teammates, but fighting it out in the championship, the final championship, the overall championship as a matter of fact. And there you see Jaden Harrison taking a look on the inside of David Tutor. The two make contact, and David pushed off. That's Daniel Roberts. Ooh, I know that they made contact. Did they? I hope they didn't. That would be severe damage. I mean, did he have anywhere to go? No, he looks like he got through it. This is Daniel Roberts. He just came up into this and saw what was about to happen. Not the safest re-entry, but does get through. He now sits in P8. I'm sure we'll be hearing about that in the stewarding room after. Jaden Harrison in P7. We'll leave that for the stewards to decide. But yes, Kurt Moss, though, he's been relegated to P10. What is going on here this evening? We look away for 1 second and drivers are just dropping down the grid. But yes, let's try and find quickly what had happened with Mr. Massive. Honestly, we'll see it in a moment's time at some point. But yes, let's head back to the top step. This is a battle that we'll be watching right now between Estefano and Felipe. The two will be trying to capitalize on as many points as possible as they head into the final round and the next race, as a matter of fact, because with 5.5 minutes remaining, Estefano 2/10 down. He's lost 2 positions since the beginning of this race. So I know he wants to get back as many points as possible as he continues onward for his bid for the championship. He did say he had planned on doing some extra laps to make sure he had his best foot possible. Not sure how that went for him, but I'm sure he did as best as he could. But the fat lady hasn't sung. Right now, the only true man who seems like he's run away with it is Daniel Moreno, who has just been building this gap from he made that overtake on Estefano. Let's try and find what had happened there as we continue watching onwards with this battle, as a matter of fact. So let's just take a look. Green flag racing. Let's look at the start for Felipe and Estefano. So there you see Daniel got a good run there. Did try and take the long way around as he went side by side. Basically got a better run there. That's Daniel Moreno right in front. So it was at the beginning of the race. Daniel had taken that position away from Estefano, and then he just never looked back ever since. So that was pain for him. Right behind though, there you see the incident with Taj, and you see, ooh, almost took out a few other drivers there. This is Javier Salazar. Saw him in an incident as well. I think that's the one that was with Daniel Roberts that slowed him down as well. So that was the beginning of this race, ladies and gentlemen. What an evening of racing this has been, and we have about 4.5 minutes remaining, plus a second race here this evening, and Estefano hasn't given it up as they head down the Kemmel straight. He got the run, had the draft as well. Side by side is himself and his teammate, and he does make the move on his teammate Felipe Yiel, and moves up another position as he heads down now to Brussels. But this battle between the two has been invigorating, as a matter of fact. Miguel there just sitting and waiting if anything is to happen. At least he can know that, you know, he gets an opportunity in front. 3 minutes, the difference between. Let's just take a look at Javier Brandao fighting it out with Javier Salazar. And these two fighting it up for P15. This is the final points position in the championship grid. The points do go up to P15. So this is a worth enough battle, ladies and gentlemen. The Panama driver versus the Colombian. Who will be the victor between these two fighters? Now the gap between them, they will continue onwards. Daniel Roberts, so his pace is just off. Let's see if maybe it's an issue with his steering wheel. Maybe it's just an issue with his... let's take a quick look. Not seeing any structural damage there. Yep, his car looks okay, so not sure what's happening with him. But he's about a second off of his teammate, and I'm sure his teammate won't make it too hard for him this evening, as there's one fighting for the championship and one who is not. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is white flag racing. So this will be the final lap. This will be the last bid that Felipe and Miguel will have on the position for P2. It doesn't make sense fight it and destroy a race entirely, but we know them as racers. We know that they're teammates, and we know they're very kind to each other. However, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a late move at some point. Felipe heads up Eau Rouge, heads down now through Radion, and now they'll be taking that look going down the Kemmel straight. Will he be getting a slipstream? You see him getting a decent run, closing, but it won't be enough for him. Not looking like he's pushing pushing it too much. Just maybe hoping if Estefano can have an incident, but yeah, we'll see how that goes as you see them going through now. Say head down to turns 8. Excuse me. But right now, this battle will continue onward for the foreseeable future. Jaden Harrison and Daniel Roberts there switch positions as we expected. Didn't make it too hard. Now Jaden maybe trying to see if he can push his teammate up the field to get to P6, but with 2.5 seconds on the last lap, I don't think that one is going to be possible as they continue onwards here. But we do have a reverse grid on the way, ladies and gentlemen, so please don't lose the hype. It's been an evening of racing. I feel like I haven't stopped speaking once for the entirety of this. We will be paying attention there to Daniel when he crosses the line. But the time has elapsed. Remark is got a better launch on his teammate and just ran away with it ever since. As you see him there clearing his way through to come down the final corner to the final bus stop chicane. The gap between Miguel and Felipe, you've seen him in the background there, but he comes through the final bus stop chicane, and it's going to be not even a drag race. Right now, it's just take your time and enjoy yourself. Enjoy your win here this evening. Daniel Moreno takes a victory. Estefano there takes P2. Felipe yields P3. And Miguel Beltran in P4. What a race for the Colombians here this evening. Didn't put a foot wrong. Edwin Ballerina here. He comes through to finish off in P5. Peter Arundel in P6. And Daniel Roberts did close the gap by that much. Oof. There he goes. Daniel Roberts in P7, Jada Harrison in P8, David Tuta in P9, Kurt Moss. Oh gosh, man. Javier Salazar did hold off against Javier Brando for the final lap to take it and win in good points for P15. Rich Dial P17, Joa Santamaria P16, Mikhaili, I think this is her best result so far. Finishes up in P18, Julian Narcisse in P19, Kevon Thomas Green in P20, Joshua Brady, Juan Constain, Taj Edwards, and DeVille Park. They did not finish. So that brings it to the end of race 1. We'll have about a 6-minute warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. Get some water. I know I need to get some. And prepare for what is coming on the way. 25 minutes reverse grid. Top 10 will be reversed. Kurt Moss will be on the top step of the podium here this evening. And the wait is over. We are back with racing in 2026. The season kicks off with the Porsche Cup. Dynamic conditions, 8 iconic tracks, drivers throughout the Caribbean and the world fighting for glory in the new revamped Porsche Cup. This is promising to be the best season yet at the Jsra as we lead into season 2 with the GT3 Championship. Drivers fighting for the top step of the podium. They've returned for the fight, and the glory will be theirs. And side by side, the two drivers as it's a sprint race down the Kemmel straight. And Mikhail Charles now sends a move down the inside into turn 7. Huge lockup. Amaris Garcia sees the error and runs away with it. 7 Mile Racing chasing in the background for P1. The season begins January 23rd, 2026. Sponsored by Shotels. We are, and the drivers just preparing. Not normally seeing Estefano there preparing in the warm-up, so clearly he wants to find a little bit of extra pace here this evening to fight through the grid. We'll be back in a moment's time, and as will I. Let me run for some water. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for race 2. It's been a very interesting race here this evening. Kurt Moss, for the first time this season, will be starting on pole position. He was not supposed to be here. So grateful to see my brother back in action. It's just not a race without Mr. Moss, if we're being honest. So, him starting on pole position, hopefully it will be a good start for him. And he will find his way to pull away the gap. Here's Daniel Roberts and Jaden Harrison right there behind him. David Tuta as well, we know can be aggressive from time to time, but clean. Will he get a better run on the start? Kurt Moss starting in pole, David Tuta P2. Jaden Harrison will be in P3. Daniel Roberts in P4. Peter Arndell in P5. Edwin Ballerino in P6. Miguel P8. Estefano P9. Daniel Moreno P10. And it's green light racing. And immediately, brilliant start there for Mr. Massive, thankfully. And the two Colombians there, Felipe, sneaking it in, and there's going to be contact. Is there not too much, thankfully, but Daniel Roberts loses out, but he and Felipe will be fighting it out now. Jaden Harrison is in P3. Let's look and see as they go up Eau Rouge. And looking clean so far for Mr. Massive. Jane there though wants to see if he can get through as quickly as possible. And that is Estefan and Daniel Velez. Yellow flags, but nobody looks like they're in any immediate danger as they head down now into turn. But at the end of the Kemmel straight, David Tuta does look like he's going to make that move. Jaden Harrison as well is now on the back end of his countryman in Kurt Moss. Daniel Roberts stuck in the I want to say the bushes right now, as he has a horde of Colombians and a Trinidadian in front of him. Three of them going in. A little bit of contact there between the two Colombians in Daniel Moreno and Felipe Yields. A little bit of contact, but nothing too much. Daniel Roberts moves back and takes back that position. Now looks at Peter Arndell in front of him. Jane Harrison though, he looks like he's trying to make the move on Mr. Massive. Massive there, relegated now down to P3. Not the greatest start, but clean enough for him for now. Daniel Roberts though chasing down the likes of Peter Arndell for P5 in this well, not in the championship, but in the race. He's going side by side as they head through. This is where the technical section is, so you shouldn't be seeing much as a speaker. That Felipe Yield and Daniel Moreno still fighting it out, but the two thinking better of it and just leaving it until they reach to the next portion of the second. Not the greatest places to try and make a move stick. Daniel Roberts though, he moves up another position, moves back up into P5. Jaden Harrison though is fighting for one in this race as David Tuta tries to push him by, but nowhere to go. Kurt Moss now back in action, see where he can find himself. Looking on the outside, also just to the inside, also go later, now working as a buffer for himself and Daniel Roberts though. He sees front of him and knows he has the pace. Can he make that move down? Immediately goes defensive and is holding off the likes of the Jamaican and Jaden Harrison, but that's not even where you really want to go. You want the run going up Eau Rouge and then going down through Radion and Kemmel straight. That's where you want the most of your speed and momentum to go through. As you see them now heading up Eau Rouge, Jaden backs off a little bit, then continues onward, puts the pressure on the Colombian in front of him, and there you see it side in right there in the slipstream. Right behind him is Kurt Moss, right behind him is Miguel, and right behind him is Daniel Roberts and Felipe Yield not too far behind. Peter Arndell relegated a few, but there is Jaden. Did try and make the move, and the two make contact. Jaden Harrison now will be taking a run off. Loses about 5 or 6 positions there. Comes right there in between the likes of himself and Peter Andrew Marson, my apologies. And that is him relegated down into P8. Daniel Roberts now still trying to make his way through the field. And there you're seeing that is Miguel Beltran trying to put a foot, but nowhere to go for the Colombian. We have 22 minutes remaining. Ladies and gentlemen, the battle hasn't started. and there's still so much drama. Daniel Roberts there now trying to push Kurt Moss through and through the corners. Now these two will not be fighting. I know it for a fact. There you see him. Lets him go. Daniel Roberts now unleashed to go after the Colombian in front of him, and he knows he has the pace. Now what he wants to do is use Kurt Moss as a buffer to try and keep the likes of Miguel, Felipe, Daniel Moreno and Estefano. But guess what? Right behind Estefano is Jaden Harrison. So can he help his teammate here this evening in a clean fashion at least to be able to hold and put some pressure on the likes of the drivers behind. So right there now, Kurt Moss. Wow, this mic is annoying me. That was Daniel Roberts there heading up Eau Rouge to take the position from David Tuta. Miguel Beltran though, he gets a better run heading down as well. And heading down now the Kemmel straight. Daniel Roberts does take pole position for now, but will have the charging Colombian behind him. Now is the first time for this evening we'll see the pace of that Jamaican on the board. And there is Jaden Harrison just watching everything unfold, seeing the pressure that's between himself and his teammate, David Tuta. Not on the Nova Racing team, but still a countryman of the drivers behind. Where will this lend him to go racing? Taj Edwards has moved up a few positions. He's now in the points positions as well. He sits in P13 right behind Daniel Velez, who hasn't made up any positions as yet. We'll go through the race start at some point. Right now, this is where we want to watch the battle. Peter Arundel as well. He has quite a few drivers behind him. And then Taj Edwards is the next line behind him with Javier and Daniel Velez right in front of him. So we'll continue to watch. Ooh, that's a nice little battle going on there between Mikhaili and Javier Salazar. The Brazilian, she is looking here feisty. P18 last race, can she put some pressure there on the likes of the drivers ahead? But Estefano Barrero only a tenth off between these drivers from P6 all the way to P4. Miguel Beltran as well, not giving up that position entirely to Daniel Roberts. Still wants to have a bit here tonight. But Jaden Harrison there side by side with Estefano. And this is what I was talking about. Can he lend some drama to fight with the Colombians here? Goes in between to take a little bit of that slipstream from David Tuta. Can he make 2 into 1? Estefano though doesn't want to give up too quickly. Does switch back on the inside. Side by side now with David Tuta. Heading on now up to Eau Rouge now. Please, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen right now, hold your horses, because as they go up Eau Rouge, this is one of the the most dangerous places, especially in this Porsche Cup. Can they get through cleanly? Yes, it looks so far very clean, but no, it's going to be slipstream battles all the way down the Kemmel straight between these three. And there you see it already. Estefano trying to see if he can get the move on the inside of David, and it looks like it's going to work out. But right ahead of them, Miguel and Daniel fighting it out for glory, but right behind them, David Tuta and Estefano not giving an inch now. They are countrymen, they're not teammates here this evening, so they have no affinity towards each other. Bumping his racing there as you see him giving a little bit of a little touch to his countryman there in Estefano. Estefano though not giving it up, side by side through turn 7 and 8 as they head down now to Puyon Corner, and this is gonna continue onwards. Estefano does move up into P5, and what a battle that was. Daniel Roberts and Miguel Beltran, they continue on with their battle. Daniel Moreno, quiet. He's made his way through all the way up into P3 now. His closest competitor right in front of him. Closest competitor in the championship, let me say, for quick clarification. But wow, what a start to this race. It's a drama. Kurt Moss out. And again, brother, I'm so glad to see you. That's all I can say. Grateful that you came and joined and raced. Hope you had fun in the first race. I know it still came with this drama, but and then race 2, but boy. Yes, let's take a quick look. This was a crash with Felipe Yiel. And who was it? It was one of his countrymen, I believe. It was... Ooh, he lost it on his own. No, that was all on his own. So it looks like he just overcooked those tires coming out of turn 1, up the final corner, my apology. And that's where a lot of drivers can make... It's just a little bit of dirty air and overheated tires. And trust me, you can be spinning all day long. So, wow, what a battle this has been. And this interesting now because the battle between Daniel Moreno, these two are fighting it out in the championship, in the overall driver championship. So will this lend to Daniel Roberts? Will they start fighting? Daniel Moreno, though, we saw him with the pace. As you see him there, takes a look where to go, though. Again, they try to bring the slipstream for a moment. And there goes Felipe on. So we'll continue to watch that and see where he can go. Joshua Brady, though, falling on the grid. Yep. Not sure brother there. But yes, this is where the championship is going to be decided, ladies and gentlemen. Just acting as a buffer between himself and Estefano. Estefano, though, who I'm sure would have loved to have gotten further up the grid. He now sits in P5 with Felipe Yiel right behind him. Where can they finish here this evening in the championship? We ride along board now with Kevon Thomas Green, driver of 7 Mile Racing, out there in the Cayman Islands, driving for ATL. His teammate only one ahead of him. Javier Salazar in a little bit of a sandwich between himself and the two 7 Mile Racing drivers. Mikhaili chasing down Joshua Brady as well. What can happen there? Get back now to Daniel Moreno, who is taking a look, just being so patient. It's like he's not rushing. And that's Jaden Harrison there in P4 with the fastest lap of the race, let me add. As the three go up Eau Rouge. As we look at this, we'll just take a quick look. That Ville Park there and came in right on time for him. Jaden there looks like he lost out a little bit there from the drivers. So let's just take a quick look now at early in the race. This was a battle between Daniel Roberts and Miguel Beltran. This was a fight for P3. Kurt Moss there was right there in the mix. What a battle that was. Side by side action. That's one of the highlights that I will remember from this evening. Let's take a look now. This is Kurt Moss. And this is right after Jaden got taken out. Kurt Moss moving up into P2. This was the incident with Richard Dial. Heading up Eau Rouge. That is... Ooh, that looks like that was Taj Edwards. The two went up Eau Rouge and made contact. for him. The Bill Park though, putting on some pressure on the Colombian in front of him. As they head down now to the bus stop, David did go defensive. And they go side by side into the final corner. The Bill there will have a run into turn 1, but by turn 1, David will have a better line. Oh, sorry, a defensive line. But, ooh, that was aggressive. The Bill there has to concede it, but again, nowhere. Doesn't have to give it up too quickly. Andrew Marson there, right there in the background as well. Waiting on his moment. Right behind them is Taj Edwards. Driving for Team JSRA. Drivers unrelenting, not giving an inch to the Jamaican to get maybe a little bit of breathing room. But Peter Arundel and Felipe yield now. The two fighting it out. Let's see what had happened there quickly. Felipe, did he lose some time or something? Not sure. Just overslowed the car. Brought Peter right there in between them. Nowhere to go for the Trinidadian. But the two will continue on this battle for the next 10 minutes. But gap still all the way around the field. So let's take a look. Because right behind them, the battle between David, DeVille, Andrew and Taj is heating on. And, ooh, my apologies, but Daniel Moreno. Oh, I thought they lost a little bit of a gap there. My apologies, got a little bit interested there for a second. Estefano closing in on Jaden Harrison. Apologies, let's just take a quick look. Joel Santamaria versus Javier Garcia Salazar. Flag just yet, ladies and gentlemen. Taj under threat by Andrew behind him. David Tutor got or lost positions to DeVille. So David there has moved or down a position. DeVille moves up a position. Let's take a quick look at that replay just to see what had happened. So from start to finish, this was DeVille. DeVille took a look on the inside or the outside, let me say. Got the run heading at the end of Kemmel straight through the chicane, side by side. It looks like a clean move so far. The two did very well in keeping that battle neat and tidy. Late on the brakes is David right here. I'm guessing, yup, there he is, holds that position. The two continued on side by side. But then this is where DeVille will be getting the better run. The better line to take that position from the Colombian. Ooh! And as we come back, David did go wide. That would have opened the door for Taj Edwards. Yup, there you see them as they head down to the bus stop chicane. Closes that door though. Very aggressive by David Taj had to back out of it a little bit, but still, the two will have a rundown now into turn 1. Taj Edwards, will he gain back that position? Again, the two side by side, and now they'll be heading up to Eau Rouge and Radion Corner. DeVille Park using this as his moment to just run away as much as possible. This is where the drama keeps happening between the Taj though, so hopefully we can get it clean. Yes, so far does cut the curb a little bit. Should have enough incident points, but that is Andrew Marson, who has said hello and welcome to the party. He now joins in, trying to make it 3 wide, nowhere to go though. Taj Edwards looks like he might get it, but on the inside line, David will go late on the brakes. Yes, he will, but the inside will become the outside. Taj Edwards will hold that position, and this is where he lost it out to DeVille in the last run. David there putting a foot. Will he switch to go defensive? Yes, he does. So David again holds the position. Taj there just looking for his moment to see if he can gain back. But what a battle it is between these two now. And Jamarson there just waiting on any mistake by the drivers in front of him. It's the best view of it, as a matter of fact, just being able to sit this and see what's happening. There you see Taj looking on the inside now. It's going to become the outside, but as I head down into the bus stop, he will. Ooh, and there's contact! Taj Edwards again taken out. And there you have it, folks. Frustration for the Jamaican. Not even surprised at this point for him. We'll hear about it in the debrief. Wish you would have just finished, but I know the frustration. Can you blame him, folks? It was such a good battle for the most part. Daniel Velez now on the back end of David Tuta, trying to see how many points he can score here. Julian Narcisse. For 7 Mile Racing sits in the final points positions as it stands. He has his teammate there behind him in Kevon Thomas Green. Ooh, and that battle between Daniel Moreno and Miguel Beltran just saw it. Let's take a quick look at that replay. Looks like he just got a better run. Yep, he did. Saw the moment, didn't defend it too hard, Miguel. And these two still fighting it out in the Driver Championship. Well, this could go all the way to the end. And as a matter of fact, could that have even been team orders in the last 3 minutes? Maybe give him a run at the likes of Daniel Roberts. We saw Daniel Moreno with the pace earlier. He does open the door now for Daniel Moreno to see if he can put in a bid for the top step of the podium. Daniel Roberts will now be under threat by Daniel Moreno. Unless these two go racing. Well, let's see in the next. Will this be white flag racing? I believe we might be getting at this point. Yup, there you see the white flag. Position behind them, and it looks like they're fighting, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Moreno breaking the toe there. did not want to give in for the likes of his teammate behind him, so they will be fighting it out. So it's not even a case where he let him through. No, this looks like it was on merit. We have 1 minute remaining. We're about the halfway point on the lap, and right there, 2/10 is the gap between Daniel Moreno and Daniel Roberts. This is going to go all the way to the T. Ladies and gentlemen, put your bids in, because this is gonna get exciting as we go on. 5/10 the gap as they head through Peon. That gap did open up a little bit. Maybe had a little bit of a moment. Peter Arndell has crashed, as I see in the timing sheet, but still got the car back up on and ready. Wrong time though to have a moment like that. Daniel Roberts holding it on good and strong as he heads down into the final sector. Daniel Moreno P2 put on quite a bid here as they head into the final bus stop chicane. They come through. Daniel Roberts looking clean and tidy so far. And it looks like he's going to get it. Won't get a run there. Daniel Roberts comes again to finish one in race 2. Daniel Moreno right behind him in P2. Miguel Beltran tried his best but didn't bring it through. P3. Jaden Harrison P4. Estefano Barrera P5. Felipe Yil in P6. Deville Park in P7. Peter Arndell in P8. David Tuta hasn't crossed the line as yet, but will come to cross now. He finishes off in P9. Andrew Marson in P10. Daniel Velez in P11. Vincent De Silva in P12. As he comes out, has Javier Salazar behind him, but does cross the line in front. Finishes off in P12. Javier in P13. Julian Narcisse of 7 Mile Racing in P14. Joel Santamario, he's right behind as well. The final points position goes to the Panama driver for GT Panama. Kevon Thomas Green in P16. Edwin Ballerina in P17. Joshua Brady comes around as well with Rich Dyer. Where's Rich? Ooh. Joshua heads into the pits. Rich in P18. And Mikhaili to finish off in P20 or P19. Yep, P20. What an evening of racing it has been, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get through with the interviews in a moment. Please, a moment to get the drivers.
Not really. Just whatever you always ask. It's all good. Like same thing as always. Yeah. Mm.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We have Mr. Daniel Roberts with us for the first interview. Dan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome, man. Well, I should have asked, do you have a camera available? If not, it's okay.
No,
Um,
no, not right now. No.
okay, no
Yeah, sorry
problem.
about that.
That's alright, man. Well, first of all, congrats, P1 in race 2. Race 1, though, we will be obviously starting with. We saw what happened at the beginning. You did finish up in P7, but we saw what had happened at the beginning of the race where you were almost pinned into the wall. We didn't see what had happened live. We just saw you pinned. Can you walk us through what happened from your point of view?
I got to really good starts. Gained like 3 or 4 positions, which was kind of necessary given my starting position to and like to finish the race well. And then taking it easy going into first turn. There's a little gap. I didn't really necessarily go for it, but like the guy just kept closing the door and like basically did not take the racing line at all, and just forced me, as in forced the contact essentially because there's nowhere else for me to go, and then you know, was unable to like have the car control to keep to not spin out when we make the contact, and just gets perched up on the wall, and then I'm just blocked in because Brady's to the left of me, and then he's there, and then I misshifted and like didn't go into reverse, and so I was like, all right, I'll just wait on him to go, and then it just took forever, and I lost like 11 seconds there, so yeah, just unfortunate.
I mean, to start it off with the qualifying ban, and then that to happen, man. It was, and I know this is your track. We saw the pace that you had this evening, but even you fighting through the field, walk us through fighting up because you ended in P7. You had a few overtakes that you had. I mean, obviously you had to make a few overtakes. What was it like coming through the field?
It was good. Like I knew I had the pace, but obviously I was way further back than I would have hoped with the 11-second, basically additional
Yes.
penalty if you want to call it that. But yeah, everything was well. And then as soon as I started getting into like maybe like the upper mid pack, maybe like P10, P9, like some guys just you know, have difficulty driving properly, I guess you could call it that. And I went for an I could have dive bombed him into the slow right-hander, I think, or no, into the into no name, the fast left. But then I
Yes.
decided not to. And then I knew I get really good exits at this one turn, and so I was like, all right, I'll just go for it at that turn. And then so said, so done. And then it's not even like I late lunged or anything like that. Like I was very clearly going for the overtake as long as he could see like in the mirror. And like I'm literally, because I'm trying to leave as much gap for these guys as possible because for some reason they just don't like leave space. I kid you not, my car is completely over the curb and he still hits me.
Hmm.
Like like you know what I mean? Like I don't even know what I'm supposed to do at that point. You know what I mean? Anyways, and then so I got contact there. So then I would say I probably lost another 4 seconds there. Uh, and then I mean not yeah, David and Jaden got in an incident, and I was able to capitalize on that. But also, it was compromised my line, so I probably lost like a second or two there. Yeah, so I really think I could have finished P2 at least, or
Yeah.
P top three, and then P1 maybe if everything had gone as it should have in race one. So it was unfortunate, but whatever, because I kind of needed that to really ensure I finished first or second in the championship. But such is life.
Yeah, it was a rough evening for you, long as well. I mean, from I saw that, it was. I will say the spectators probably enjoyed seeing you come from the again from the back with a 11-second penalty, as you call it, fight your way through. It was entertaining to watch at least, but I know um, emotionally it was hard on a lot of our hearts. The Jamaica team, especially, we saw Kurt, we saw Taj, we even saw Jaden get spun out. But we're heading to race 2 now. Wow, what what another evening of racing. The start was brilliant. I think you had dropped down a position at the start, and then you had to fight your way through. Walk us through the dramatics for yourself there. We're watching it live now as we speak.
Yeah, I didn't get as good a start as I would have hoped, but I always take it. Again, I'm always a clean, probably overly clean as a driver, and so I didn't push as hard into turn one as I should have, and then got dive bombed by two of the, I think, Colombians, I guess, and then so just lost out there, and yeah, and then it was just kind of just again just being smooth, taking opportunities when they arose, and then eventually with Jaden, when Jaden got taken out, it kind of backed everyone up, so I was able to capitalize on that, and yeah, and then I had pace above, like I was faster than the guy that was ahead of me, overtook him,
That was
and
Miguel.
then yeah, and then I couldn't break through the gap, so that was in like the slipstream, the 1 second gap, like
Yeah.
so that was kind of annoying. Like I probably could have, but every lap I made just a tiny mistake somewhere and just didn't optimize my lap. So, and then like even if I did get 1.3 seconds ahead, like I would just make a bigger mistake and then like I'd draw back to a second. So that was kind of like annoying, him always being there and kind of not being able to just like
Yes.
bring it home very casually. But yeah, it was fun like being in the pack and like not being taken out.
Yeah.
So like that was fine. Yeah.
Well, my final question. We have two final questions for you now. One, in the last lap, he did bring it down to 2 tenths when you saw Daniel Moreno, who won race one. You saw him bring it down to 2 tenths. Was there ever a moment where you got nervous, or did you just in your mind know that you had the victory?
Oh yeah, no. At one point I was like, like because I did, I was talking on voice chat and then like lost focus and forgot to turn my TC back up because I make a lot of adjustments throughout the lap and then I brake too late, whatever. So I wasn't focused and then I realized he closed the gap. I was like, damn, okay. And then, but I think he made a mistake or something,
He
or
did.
I
Yeah.
know, or yeah, or something like that. And then I know I have a pretty good sector two, so I was kind of confident on that, and then yeah, I was able to not mess up big enough for him to like fully close it. So yeah,
Well,
but there's
bro.
definitely a worry for a lap corner or two that I would have gotten in
Yes.
trouble. So
Well, nonetheless, bro, it was brilliant to watch. Again, especially as the leader of JSR, it was a little bit painful at the beginning to see it. I think you could hear the cracking in my voice, but nonetheless, you did us proud, man, and congratulations on the win in race two.
yeah, yeah, thank you.
Thank you too, bro. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Daniel Roberts. Came P7 in race one, and P1 in race two. Next up, we'll have Daniel Moreno um, in for, well, let's see if we can get somebody to translate for him. Daniel, hola.
Hola, Miguel Beltrán.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna just do the interviews with Daniel and Miguel in one run. Miguel, can you hear us?
Yeah, can hear you.
Okay, would you mind translating for Daniel for us?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you so much. So well, Miguel, let's just start with you then. Race one, it was fun for you. We want to hear your thoughts on it. How did it go for you? I know you're in a championship battle with Daniel Moreno. How was that battle as you headed through? I know you finished P4 in race one and it was P3 in race two. Well, talk us through race one first, please.
Yeah, the first race I did a regular quali. I expected a better time, but I can find a very good pace in this track with this combination. Yeah, I lost the position with Felipe.
Felipe.
I decided to leave in La Roche to avoid that. Yeah, side by side in that turn, it's a dead. It's impossible.
Yes.
Yeah, get all
Especially in
tires.
this car.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So inside, yeah, but I didn't have the pace. Daniel did a very good lap and had a good pace, no mixed days, so he deserved the victory.
Okay, and then in race two, now that's where a lot more of the action came. You were fighting it out firstly with Kurt Moss until he got taken out. Then it was a battle with Daniel Roberts. Can you give us your walkthrough with that battle?
Yeah, the first laps was I get a look, gain a lot of position and so and the fight with I don't remember. Can you the guy that I hit in
Yes,
was
I think it was
Kurt?
Kurt.
Kurt,
Kurt
yeah.
Moss, yeah.
I expected he went to the right side in that first turn. I see a little gap, but I was miss. Yeah, it was a miss of me. So he stayed in the middle and I hit him. So with Daniel Roberts, he was doing a mistake, but he has a very good pace in the last sector. He gained a lot of time in that last sector and was very difficult. And I start to losing the rear of my car, overheating my rear tires. And yeah, I did a mistake. I left past Daniel because he he had a very good pace, so I decided let him to pass me and try to catch the Daniel.
And then later down in the race now, you are in a championship battle with Daniel Moreno for
Yeah.
P4. That battle, I mean, he made the move on you. You took it back. It was a good little tussle between the two of you. What were your thoughts during that process?
Yeah, I was thinking that, but we are teammates, so I'm happy with anyone of us take that before, and I expected the, that that us can maybe can get a better positions, maybe P2, P3.
So my next question now, in the latter stages of the race, you and him did switch positions. We, the audience, wanted to know, was that on merit or was that a tactical move to send Daniel Moreno after Daniel Roberts for P1?
Yeah, we say before the race if someone of the team uh, go very slow that exit out the turn,
Yes,
and the other teammate maybe has a better pace, so we decide to give the position
switch.
to the car behind. Yeah, to
Okay.
switch.
Understood, man. It was a good race for you nonetheless. Good points as well, finishing P4 and P3. I'll go on to Daniel Moreno now. Race one, you started in P2 and you sent a move on your teammate in Estefano, and after that you just ran away with it. Was that the strategy? Um, yeah, talk us
Uh,
through lap one, please.
Ok. Bueno, salió de la carrera P2. Pues adelantó Estefano, pero están preguntando si fue alguna estrategia o fue pues sí, un rebase como tal.
Ok, pues la quali tenía para hacer el 15-8, solo que cometí el error prácticamente en el último sector, pisé la grava y ahí perdí todo. Y no fue estrategia, prácticamente creo que los dos largamos muy bien, solo que en las prácticas había identificado con Miguel, que estaba practicando con él, que por dentro ahí se pierde, o sea, uno sale muy mal traccionado. Entonces traté de salir bien abierto y pues me funcionó. Prácticamente ahí, mientras llegaba a Eau Rouge, pues le gané los metros y puse el carro adelante y él tuvo que soltar.
He said he had a better time for quali, maybe for get the pole positions, but he did a mistake in the last sector. In the race start, both us, Stefano and Daniel, did a very good start, but he he knows from the practice with me that the outside in the turn one has a better tractions. So yeah, had very great. So he gave the position for for that strategy, not for teammate strategy.
Nice. And I mean, after that, it was smooth sailing to the victory. But in race two, again, it seemed like a very quiet night for him. We didn't notice his overtakes. We just noticed him up into P3 by about lap 4 or 5. Could you walk us through your race two up until we got into the battles for the top step of the podium?
Bueno, hablan sobre llegó, bueno, al final P2, pero estuvo con varias batallas para llegar a donde estaba. Entonces, que hable un poco sobre cómo fue eso.
Bueno, largué décimo. Creo que prácticamente en la primera vuelta hubieron toques y incidentes que supe capitalizar. Em, Prácticamente al final de la primera vuelta, tratando de rebasar un piloto un poco más lento, me fui muy largo. En la última salí muy abierto y medio slowdown. Ahí prácticamente tuve que soltar mucho y cederle la posición a Felipe. Em, y pues ya cuando la pagué ya pues fue un poco más fácil. Ya no había tantos pilotos adelante y simplemente fue ser consistente hasta que le llegué a Miguel. Prácticamente establecimos que no había razón para atacarnos a menos de que le llegáramos a Daniel. Lo último, Miguel cometió un error y pues me dejó pasar para intentar llegar a Daniel, pero no alcanzamos. Donde, no sé, una vuelta más, yo creo que quizás hubiéramos tenido una batalla ahí.
He in the start just try to take opportunities for another incidents for the pilots that were ahead. Yes, take opportunities. He got a slow down and lost positions and stayed behind Felipe Hill. But there was less cars ahead, so it was very easy to start getting position. For he just stay a very good pace, with very good pace, without no mistakes. He just get a P3, and then for the strategy, I think teammates that we say in the past, that wait for opportunity, a clear very opportunity to pass a teammate. I did the mistakes, and he just paced me and tried to catch Daniel Roberts. He said that maybe with one lap or could be a possible to pass Daniel.
Yeah, no. Well, it was a fun race nonetheless to watch. I have one more question directed at both of you. I hope it doesn't stir up any controversy. But I'll start with you, Miguel. You guys are
Yeah.
very close in the points. As we head into the finale next week, what are your final thoughts?
For me, if we stay in the same strategy, we share the same setups, say tips, but if okay, it's the final race, maybe we need to be more aggressive and think more for our championship than that of the team. Okay, yeah, okay. I will translate to Daniel. Ellos preguntan que como estamos tan luchando por la misma posición, usted y yo en el campeonato, que en la carrera final, ¿qué va a pasar? ¿Cómo va a ser eso? Pensando en eso.
Que sea lo que Dios quiera, yo creo que eso se va a definir en la quali. Y ahí yo creo que nos vamos a respetar. Igual si se llega a la oportunidad y estamos cerca, pues igual vamos a pelear, normal. O sea, no creo que demos largas.
He said that the maybe the quality defines the final position, but he said if he saw he said he see opportunity to overtake, he take it. Thank you. Good night. Gracias, Daniel.
Vale, gracias, buena noche.
He say thank you. Good night.
Oh wow, I was muted for a second there. I'm so sorry. But we did bring the stream to a conclusion. That was Daniel Moreno and Miguel Beltran. Unfortunately, we won't have Estefano nor Felipe Yil here tonight, as they had things that they had to wrap up at the end of the stream, or the race immediately after, as a matter of fact. But yes, that does bring us to the end of round 7. We're heading to round 8, the finale at Sebring, which might come with a little bit of extra drama here, just to add a little bit of curry in the pot and bring a little bit more excitement to bring drama next week. So there might be a touch of rain depending on the weather. It's been raining in Jamaica, raining in Florida. What can happen as we bring the season to an end? I've been your host. Please stay tuned to our social medias at JSRAofficial to gain as much information as possible with the championship standings as we head in to the final round next week at Sebring Raceway. Iconic track. It's going to be crazy with these Porsche Cup cars. The setups are going to be, it's going to be on the edge, as a matter of fact. And then with the possibility of rain, what can happen? I have been your host, Mr. Stephen Stewart. It's been an absolute pleasure as always bringing you, and thank you to Shotels for sponsoring us for the season. It's been long and drawn out, and I mean, even now it will go to an extreme end, as the fight for P1 to P3 is still very much on the way, as well as P4 and P5 and further down the grid. Points do go all the way down, or prizes go all the way down to P10, so please stay tuned. Leave your best driver a vote. Come in next week and leave them a support. Give them as much of the help that they can get to make sure that they're feeling vibrant as always. So bless you. Thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful evening. Good night. And that brings us to the end of another wonderful race weekend. We thank you for joining us as the drivers put on a show, fighting for the top step of the podium. But we will see you again next week as the drivers return for the next round. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you the action, the drama, and all the battles here at the JSRA. Huge thank you to our sponsors, Shotels, who without them none of this would be possible. And a grander shout out to our Lord Jesus Christ, who without him none of this would be a thing. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful evening and a great night.